Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into SKOOL, this really interesting platform that's kind of changing the game
Yeah.
for online courses and building communities
Right.
online. So whether you're like thinking about starting your own online course,
Yeah.
maybe you've taken some online courses, and you're just curious about like how these communities are actually built
Right.
or how they work, how they function.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really fascinating deep dive today
It's definitely
because we're going to unpack like all the different integrated features.
Yes.
We're going to talk about gamification and how that plays a role.
Uh,
We're going to talk about just the simplicity of it all.
yeah.
And then ultimately why you might actually want to join SKOOL.
Right. Yeah, this is it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. So first of all,
Okay.
our source material kind of starts off talking about the problem that
Else.
SKOOL's trying to solve.
Yeah.
And they use this analogy of this like simplicity versus complexity.
I like that.
Yeah. So back in the day, maybe like 10 years ago,
Right.
it was just like, you put some videos up online.
Put up a few videos and call it a day.
Yeah, exactly. That was your online course.
Exactly.
Now fast forward to 2024, coming 25, it's a whole different ball game, right?
It's completely different.
You have these dynamic communities.
Yes.
You've got, events that are integrated.
Right.
You have interactive elements like
Yeah, you got to have downloads, you've got to have workbooks, you've got to have
community aspects. Yeah.
It's really hard to even for like a tech-savvy person to wrap their head around.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people run into that
Yeah.
problem, right? Where it's like you're trying to cobble together all of these different platforms and apps and you're trying to get them to talk to each other. And it's just a nightmare. It's a mess.
It is. It's a total nightmare.
Yeah.
And I think for students too, right? Like just from a learning perspective. Totally.
To constantly be switching between platforms, I think can be
Yeah.
a barrier to engagement.
Absolutely. It's like every time you have to go to a new website or a new app, you're basically like putting a little roadblock in the way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is what SKOOL is trying to address and solve.
Yeah, that's their big thing.
So their solution basically is to have everything under one roof.
Yes. One-stop shop.
Yeah. So they have courses, they have community, they have event scheduling, and it's all like wrapped into one.
And the idea is that like,
Yeah,
it's just easier for everybody, right?
absolutely.
Like for the creator of the course,
Yeah.
they don't have to manage 15 different things. And for the student, they don't have to jump around
Yeah,
all over the place to like get the content.
exactly.
Yeah.
I remember when I launched my first course a few years back, it was such a nightmare trying to figure out
Yeah.
like where to host the videos and then like,
Okay, do I need a separate?
yeah, and then like,
Email marketing platform. Do I need this? Do I need that?
exactly.
Yeah.
It was just like information overload.
Yeah, it was way too much.
But it sounds like SKOOL.
That's what they're addressing.
Yeah.
That's the pain point they're going after.
So let's break down
Yeah.
each one of those like kind of core areas.
Okay, sounds good.
So first, let's talk about courses.
Okay.
What is it about the courses that SKOOL offers?
So it's like, when you look at the course features,
Yeah.
it's a lot of the stuff you would expect, right?
Yeah.
You can host your videos there, you can
Everything.
create quizzes, you can drip the content out over time, like
Yeah.
all that kind of standard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's interesting is how it integrates with the community aspect of SKOOL, right? So it's not just like, okay, here's the course material, go off and, figure it out on your own. It's
Yeah.
like every module, every lesson can have its own
Like community.
community aspect
Yes.
built right in so people can talk about it.
SKOOL.
They can ask questions, they can interact with each other.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And it's all happening within school.
Right.
So you're not like sending people off to a Facebook group or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all self-contained.
Yeah. And I think that just creates a much more
Yeah.
engaged learning experience.
So then that leads us into like the community features.
Yeah.
So like what is it about SKOOL's community that makes it
So I think with the communities, it's not necessarily that they're reinventing the wheel.
okay?
Right? You've still got your like threaded posts and your comments and, people can like things and they can direct message each other.
Sure.
But again, it's like how tightly it's integrated with the learning content.
Okay.
So it's not just like a forum where people are talking about random things. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, you just watched this video in the course.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the community section for that video
Right.
and talk about it.
And then everyone's like on the same page. They all
Yeah.
just watch the same thing.
Yeah. Exactly. So it just keeps the conversations really focused and relevant.
That's great.
And then I think the other thing they do really well is the gamification.
Oh, yeah. This is what I was really curious about.
Yeah, gamification is huge.
So can you unpack that a little bit? Like, how does that work?
So basically, they have points and levels and leaderboards.
Okay.
And every time you do something in school, like you complete a quiz or you participate in a discussion or, maybe you answer somebody's question and you get upvoted or whatever.
Right.
You earn points.
Got it.
And then as you accumulate points, you level up.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of like a video game in a way.
So it's like gamifying the learning process.
Exactly.
So people are like, oh, I got to get to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's leaderboards so you can see like who the top learners are.
That's interesting.
And I think that just adds like a little extra motivation.
Do you think that because I know some people are concerned about gamification, that it can distract from the actual learning.
Totally, totally. And that's a valid concern because you don't want people to be so focused on getting points that they're not actually learning anything.
Exactly.
But I think school does a good job of making sure that the points are awarded for things that are actually related to learning.
Gotcha.
Like completing the quizzes and participating in discussions, not just logging in every day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think they've thought about that and they've tried to mitigate that risk.
So let's talk about the practical side of this. Our source material mentioned that SKOOL is
easy to use.
Yeah, really user-friendly and quick to set up.
It's one of their big selling points.
So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, they've really focused on making the platform intuitive, both for people who've created courses before and for complete beginners.
Okay.
They don't want it to be intimidating. So, you've got things like drag and drop course building.
Oh, nice.
You can schedule events with one click.
Wow.
They have a really streamlined admin dashboard.
That's
right. So
right.
you can manage everything really easily.
So it sounds like you could get a course up and running pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, I've heard of people
wow,
getting courses up and running in a matter of hours.
Oh, that's amazing.
Not days or weeks like some of the other platforms.
So we've talked about the problem. We've talked about the solution. We've talked about all the different features and the gamification.
Yeah.
But what's the big takeaway here?
I think the big takeaway is that SKOOL is really trying to be this all-in-one platform for online learning and community building.
Yeah.
And they're doing that by eliminating the need to use multiple platforms.
Yeah.
They're really focused on engagement through the community and the gamification.
Yeah.
And they've made it super simple to use.
Yeah.
So it's a really compelling package. Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Especially if you're somebody who's wants to build a community around their courses.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's providing the tools and the platform, and then you can just focus on creating the content.
Yeah. Focus on what you're good at.
Yeah. And then building that community organically.
Exactly.
So to our listeners out there,
yes,
think about some of the online courses you've taken in the past. Or maybe some online communities that you've been a part of.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that made those experiences really engaging and impactful?
Yeah. What did you like? What didn't you like?
And how do you think SKOOL's approach aligns with your vision of the ideal online learning community?
What would your perfect platform look like?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
And of course, be sure to check out SKOOL.
Definitely go check it out.
To see if it's a good fit for you, whether you're, thinking about teaching or learning.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya.